Hello and namaste everyone. I hope you all are doing safe and sound in this crisis time. Coming to today's video ka topic, it is investment banking. A lot of requests came up for this particular profile asking me to make a video on a professional who's already worked into this profile. And you know what's the best part about the professional who we have today? इन्होंने अपना कदम रखा इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में सिर्फ एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी की डिग्री लेके नाउ सीए की डिग्री एक सिर्फ वाली डिग्री तो होती नहीं है बट समहाउ व्हेन यू एंटर इनटू कोर फाइनेंस you kind of think that you might need some other qualification like we have talked about in our earlier videos. So yes, let me tell you a little brief profile about our speaker today. We have on board with us Sparsh Shah. स्पर्श एक ऐसे प्रोफेशनल हैं जिन्होंने अपनी आर्टिकलशिप मुंबई की एक बहुत रेप्यूटेड फर्म से करी. इट इज अमंग द टॉप 6 फर्म्स इन मुंबई. Coming to his clearing CA final, after that he approached some private campus and from there he got selected as a management trainee. मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनी प्रोग्राम में जाके अलग अलग प्रोफाइल्स का एक्सपीरियंस लेने के बाद इन्हें अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली कि ये इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग रोल में अपना एक्सपीरियंस ले. After that, he went on to become equity research analyst in that firm. And let me tell you, that firm is among the top 10 firms in India for this role. Equity research में experience लेने के बाद he went on to become a full-time investment banking analyst. और एक इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग एनालिस्ट की लाइफ कैसी होती है इसमें जब आप करियर स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं या अपना करियर शिफ्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो क्या क्या स्किल्स रिक्वायर्ड होते हैं, वर्क आवर्स कैसे होते हैं, स्ट्रेस कैसा होता है, क्या क्या आपको सीखना पड़ता है, इसमें एक्सपीरियंस लेने के बाद आगे क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं आपके लिए, इसके बारे में और स्पर्श के पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में आज हम सभी बातें करने वाले हैं. ये वीडियो बहुत एक्साइटिंग होने वाला है बिकॉज इसमें मुझे काफी कुछ सीखने को मिला है और आपको काफी कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा. सो स्टे ट्यून्ड टिल द एंड. And welcome back to the channel. Shah, hi Sparsh, welcome to the channel and thank you for agreeing to do this. If we talk about yourself, let's know that what kind of professional background you've had till now.
Thanks a lot, Bhavna. Thanks a lot, viewers. So, I'll just give a brief background about myself. So, this financial background seed was sowed when I elected commerce field. Then I started pursuing CA and I completed CPT and IPCC from my hometown Gwalior, and then I moved to Bombay to complete my articleship. So I did my articleship from Grant Thornton under statutory audit department. Also during my articleship time, I used to do some mystery evaluations in which you become a mystery evaluator and you evaluate shops like Nike and those things. So that was just a hobby thing. After completing my articleship and CA, I joined Motilal Oswal as a management trainee. So they had this management trainee Spark program in which you get to experience 5 different departments or 5 different profiles. So that included private equity, investment banking, corporate planning, asset management company, and institutional equity. So over this 1 year, I developed my interest towards investment banking, and then I knew that I have my interest towards investment banking, and that will help me in growing better professionally. So after completing my program, I was absorbed in investment banking, and recently I moved to a startup. So this is my short journey till now.
Amazing, this kind of a role. So let's begin our session. Yes, so Sparsh, if I ask you about what work did you do initially in your management trainee program in your firm where you came across 5 different roles and ultimately later on when you got absorbed into this one specific role, what was the kind of work you handled?
Okay. So initially when I started, I just had an experience of my statutory audit. That is my articleship experience. So that was like moving your journey from analyzing numbers to analyzing business. Private equity or investment banking or institutional equity, it's all about analyzing the businesses. So initially you're new to this field, so you start up reading about the industry, about the companies. You pick one industry. So though in the management training program I covered many industries, because in institutional equity I was looking at the radio industry, then investment banking I was looking at the auto ancillary industry. So answering your question, initially I did the reading part or industry research. We also call it industry landscaping, in which you research everything about that particular industry, what all good things are there in the industry, what all growth factors are there in the industry, and who all are good players in this industry, and which players you should look at. So you have data like you can read the annual reports, you can read the research reports, you can read the con call transcripts of the company. So yeah, initially in the management training, I spent major of my time in understanding the industry. Yeah.
And later on, you move to the core investment banking analyst role that the company employed you in. What kind of work have you experienced till now in that profile particularly?
Sure. So before answering that question, I'll give a brief about what all does investment banking does. So basically, investment banking helps company in raising funds. It could be through the public market or the private market. Public market is the famous IPO route. Then private market is through raising money through private equity players. Then there's this something called mergers and acquisition, which was my favorite field. So mergers and acquisition is all about acquiring another company or merging with another company based on the synergies. So in investment banking, first of all, you do cold calling or industry landscape. So industry after doing the industry landscape, you find a good players and you pitch your idea to the company. For pitching that idea to the company, first you need to set up a meeting with that company. You pitch your idea to that company. So for that, you prepare a pitch book. Pitch book is nothing but a presentation about that industry and about your idea, what you are pitching to the company. That idea could be an IPO or could be an M&A. So once you've pitched that company, you get a mandate. After which you start preparing the information memorandum and the model, which is the core core work that you do in the investment banking. So information memorandum is a basically detailed presentation about the company, which gives you information about the industry and the company. So through information memorandum and model, you pitch about that company to the potential investor. Why particular investor should invest in that company. Once you've worked on the information memorandum and the model, you share this thing with the potential investors which might be interested in investing in the company. Once this thing takes place, then the management meeting takes place, and once the investor is further interested in pursuing this opportunity, he signs the term sheet. So term sheet is basically a non-binding offer which says that if everything goes fine, we'll be investing in this company at a particular valuation. After this, the DD takes place, which is a due diligence process. That also includes financial due diligence, legal due diligence, environmental due diligence. So you play a part in that field as well, that you help companies. So you basically play a role of a mediator between the DD agency and the company. Once the DD process goes through and everything is fine and everything is positive, the SHA or SHPA, which is shareholders purchase agreement, which is the final document, which says that the deal is closed and which says that the final investment would be done. So this is a brief process about the work that is done in the investment banking. So initially, preparing the pitch books, preparing the financial model. So financial model is all about valuation and projecting the financials of the company. So initially, my focus was on models and information memorandums. Later on, as you get more experience, you move towards the later stages of the investment, which includes DD and the working on the SHAs. Yeah, so if I'll give you a brief, so I basically worked on these fields.
So this was briefly about the profile that you pursued and that you were in for a couple of years. Coming to the, you can say, the technical skills that you require to get into this kind of a profile, or the personal skills, whatever. So what do you think a person should be having on his professional and personal front to enter into this kind of a profile?
Okay. So basically, I'll divide it into two parts: technical skills and the soft skills. So technical skills could be your strong financial skills. So being a CA, I don't think financial skills should be a challenge, but yeah, theoretical knowledge is completely different from how you implement it practically, because practical world, you have to bend some rules, some theoretical rules according to the situation. But yeah, in case your basics are strong, then I don't think technical should be a challenge for you. Technical for CAs generally challenge arises during the presentation thing, because we are not that well versed with the presentation, which even I face, and which I've even seen the problem faced by trainees that were there during my time. So what they face is that we are not able to make a good presentation, and presentation is not only about showing it visually beautiful, but it's also about presenting a good story. But over the time, once you have good understanding of the industry and the companies, and once you start building more and more presentations, you get that skill. So technical skills is not something that I think should be a big challenge. Then personal skills, initially you don't get to talk so much in the meetings. Initially it's the senior people who talk, but over the time you'll be handling the mandate by your own. You'll be communicating to the clients directly. You should have a good interpersonal and communication skills. So yeah, these two skills are something that one should focus on.
Do you think a lot of posh Excel skill is required before you get into this?
Yeah, so basically in models, if you look at, they are like they are detailed models. So if you have to arrive at good projections, you need to build a detailed projection. So you need to have a good Excel skills. But if your articleship experience has been good, I don't think Excel should be a challenge for you. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
answering your question, yeah, you should have a good amount of technical skills in Excel.
Okay, cool. Now, a lot of people fancy this kind of a profile यार कि investment banking में जाना है without actually knowing what it is. You've given a gist about what it is. Now, I want you to ask it on from a personal front. So, someone who's looking forward to it, can they expect a lot of work-life balance later on if they get into the profile? What kind of work hours did you used to put in? And does this kind of a profile bring a lot of stress along with it?
Hmm. Okay, but so answering about the work stress thing, if you worked during your articleship time, you would have faced this work stress thing. Yeah, obviously, articleship experience is totally different from full-time employment, because you're much more responsible during your full-time employment than you are in articleship. But yeah, talking about the work stress, there's initially I think work stress shouldn't be a consideration for you. Initially you should focus more on your learning, and if you're seriously passionate about this profile, then work stress won't be a challenge for you. But yeah, answering your question, yeah, work stress would be there for initial years, because you are coping with the new things, new industry, new companies, new learnings. So that would be a challenge initially, but over the time, if you have passion for investment banking, that would be a challenge for you. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's more about focusing on the learning opportunity instead of whining about यार कि stress बहुत हो रहा है life में. I think every profile gets some aspect of stress from with itself. आप कुछ भी नया करने जाते हो तो you have to put in extra time and extra effort to understand it better, to learn it better, to get your expertise over it, and then only then you can move to the growth aspect.
Exactly.
Yes. Coming to, how well can it pay a chartered accountant fresher? So you can't obviously expect something as equivalent to an MBA who just got out of a good top B school and got into this kind of a profile. But from a chartered accountant fresher's perspective, what can you look at in terms of pay?
Okay, so banking profile is known for very lucrative pay. So,
Mm.
talking more about the pay, basically it has much more lucrative bonus. Like you can end up earning bonuses which is more than your fixed salary. So, for example, if you're earning 30 lakhs per annum, at the end of the year, you might end up earning more than 30 LPA as bonus itself. So your overall pay might be more than 60 LPA. So yeah, so in investment banking, pay is never a challenge. You'll always be happy with the pay, provided that the year has been good, the deal has been closed. Because in investment banking, you don't earn a single penny till the time the deal has successfully closed. So in case that year has seen a lot of deal closures, you'll end up making a lot of money. So that won't be a challenge.
So, do you think the normal industry standards for a chartered accountant fresher, an average student I'm talking about here, not a ranker or not someone who's gotten out of big fours from when they did their articleship, how much they can expect in terms of starting out?
So depends. Basically, currently the mindset has changed. Earlier, investment banking used to prefer MBAs over CA, but this mindset has changed over the period. Now they are preferring CAs because CA has a good knack of reading the financials. So initially, if you're starting with a bulge bracket investment banking, your pay could be like more than 20 LPA. Even the starting pay could be somewhere around that. But generally, that is earned by people having a rank in CA, because investment banking still have that criteria that they prefer CA rankers. But if you are not a ranker, then that pay might be low. So this is really subjective. Depends on which kind of IB you're working with. If you're working with a small IB, your pay might be low. But if you're working with a bulge bracket IB, it could be like really good, and it could be as competitive as someone earning it after doing their post grad from IIM.
Okay. Coming to the growth aspect, I mean, after you've had a couple of years or 3, 4, 5 years experience into this kind of a profile, what can you look forward to? Are you, if someone is not liking the profile, they are looking for a shift, or maybe they're just thinking of getting into another company, what are the different fields or different options that a person will have after having this kind of exposure for some years? I mean, you also kind of did a shift recently from your profile to a different kind of a profile, absolutely new company, absolutely new profile. So,
Mhm.
what kind of things people can look forward to?
Okay. So, best part about the investment banking field is that you do so much detailed research about the industry and company that you start knowing about that company so well that you might even know much more than the people who are there in that company from long many years, because you're pitching that company to an investor. So if you're pitching an idea to an investor, you yourself should be clear about that company. So talking about the growth opportunity, you learn so much that in the end you can move to any fields after this. Many people end up moving towards the strategy because you learn so much about that industry that you know how to deal with the strategy and those things. Other than that, you can some big corporates have their own M&A team, so you can even move to their core M&A team. So because in investment banking there is private equity, M&A, IPO, ECM deals, but if you have only interest towards M&A, you can even move to M&A team of a particular corporate. Also, like I've moved to a startup where I'm overlooking many divisions, like almost every division I'm looking at. So this is basically due to the experience that you get during the IB stint. So I'll say कि many doors open after your IB experience, and you can explore much more opportunities after this, which could include strategy, M&A, core finance of other companies, to name a few. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So now coming to the main question that a lot of professionals and students are looking up to in this video, यार कि हम ऐसी प्रोफाइल में कैसे घुसे? अभी तो ये सब बातें हो गई घुसने के बाद की, बट सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि इस टाइप के प्रोफाइल के दरवाजे एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के लिए एग्जैक्टली खुले नहीं है. So,
Hmm.
as a professional, as a CA fresher, or as an experienced professional, or as a CA student who's looking forward, yeah, ki, I want to get into this kind of a role. This really makes me excited. I would really like to experience something new, and I love interacting with people. I would love talking to clients. I would love pitching. So, how do I really get my way into this profile? What would you suggest?
Okay, I'll start with the easiest path. So easiest path is for a CA student because he can pursue an industrial training in an IB, and through that it's much more easier than for a chartered accountant without having any experience in IB. So for CA student, you should try your best to get into an IB profile for your industrial training if you really want to get into IB. For now talking about the people who have already qualified as CAs. So for fresher CAs, there are many companies who have started with their management training program. Like the same way how I ended up being in an IB, I joined a management training program through which I got some experience about the IB, and then I moved towards IB. So if you can try for the management trainee program, that's the best. Otherwise, what you can try is you can use your LinkedIn network, and through that you can forward your CV. But before doing that, first be sure about the profile. Be sure what investment banking includes or what an investment banker does. Then you should be sure about your financial skills, that you have good financial knowledge, so that once you get an interview call, you don't waste that chance, because getting an investment banking interview opportunity is in itself is also a big thing. You shouldn't waste that chance. So you should work on your fundamentals. Also, another way is that people who are in audit can move towards transaction advisory services, which includes due diligence. And from due diligence, you can network and move towards the IB. So this is another route. Some people pursue CFA because CFA give you good knowledge about the valuations and core financial knowledge. So you can even use that path.
Okay, yeah, makes a lot of sense because professionals are usually just afraid to take the first step towards this kind of a role, right? So, taking that first step, if you are a chartered accountancy student, if you're still in your articleship, or if you're going to start your articleship, you have a golden opportunity because you could choose to go for something called industrial training, and particularly an industrial training in an IB firm, because that will open your doors towards more roles, right? And if you're already a professional, try and make switch into something called transaction advisory, particularly due diligence, or just expanding your network via professional platforms. LinkedIn is a great platform. Apart from that, try and build a rapport with these professionals first. I mean, I think that's the most important. It's in my personal experience, a lot of people just shoot their CVs and dump their CVs into other inboxes without really being aware of who the person is. I mean, why would the person you are sending your CV to refer you, first of all? You don't know them, you have not built a professional connection with them. At least try and get to know the person, build a professional rapport before you dump in CVs into others' inboxes, because that's extremely, extremely important. Only then you will be able to go forward with the connection, with the relationship that you've established, and only then the person in front of you will consider your CV and
Right.
keep following up.
Exactly. Keep following up. That is a very important thing, because many people, they just shoot up the email and they don't follow up. Also,
Yes.
one more thing is that I would like to add is that you can even start with an internship sort of experience. In case you're not getting an opportunity as a full time, you can start with an internship, and that might help you in gaining grounds in IT field.
Yes, I think in the initial phase of the career where you are actually just starting out, you've been 1 year or 2 years or even 3 years into the industry, you might have gotten to a point where you are independent, but right now is your time to explore. Now you've started to understand different paths that you can follow in your career, and you are probably not that you can say dependent on others, so you can just pull some time from your mainstream career and give into exploring, right? Or if need be, going for an internship will definitely impact you financially, but be ready to take that step if you want to go for a better long term prospect for yourself that will complement you as a person, your personality, your skills, your interests. That is extremely
Yeah,
important.
exactly. Because any which ways, if you are not liking your current profile, you are wasting your time. So it's better that do some compromise in the shorter term for achieving your longer term goals. So any day it makes sense.
Exactly, exactly. So, any last thing that you would like to share with our viewers, any tips that you want to give, or anything you want to say to the viewers, Sparsh?
Yeah. So I'll just give some advices from my experience that has been till now. One thing is that there'll be a lot of ups and downs for you initially. You might get rejected. Don't be disheartened by the rejection. It's the, like as it is said, that failure is the first step towards success. So just be determined towards that goal, because in investment banking also you'll see that one transaction takes almost like 12 to 18 months, and even after 18 months you aren't sure that you'll close that deal. So just be sure about this thing that there's no 100% guarantee of success in any field. So just be sure about that thing. Other thing that I would like to put on is that it's rightly said that healthy mind stays in a healthy body. So just don't focus on only on just doing the fundamentals and everything. Work on your physical and mental health both. Yeah, that's it.
Amazing, amazing. I love that part where you mentioned, yaar, ki a good healthy mind will reside in a healthy body. So it's extremely important for you to keep your body healthy too. Superb. Very enlightening session, Sparsh. I have to admit that there were a lot of new things that I learned, and anybody who will watch this video is going to learn from your experience and all the plethora of knowledge that you have brought in. Thank you again for agreeing to this session.
No, no, thanks a lot. It was my pleasure, and I was really glad to be part of such an initiative where you are helping CA people who are like so fresher right now. They can't choose between the fields, so this gives them an overview about what they can choose in future. So, thanks to you.
Not at all. Yes. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe because we are coming up with more videos of more profiles from the finance and non finance sectors where you will be seeing professionals share their experience and their tips for you before you get into it. There's nothing better than seeing someone at a place where we want to reach. There's nothing more enlightening than that. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, like, and comment. I will be giving Sparsh's LinkedIn profile URL in the description box. So connect with him, talk to him personally, let him know that you like this video. And yes, I'll see you next time. Bye bye, stay safe, and take care.